I have a really exciting product that I've been waiting for. I ordered it a month or more ago. I'm excited, and I want you to be excited with me. So stick around. Let's put this kit together, and maybe you might get something out of it. So what I have before you is my highly anticipated package. It's about 3 weeks delivery time between the two. I have my Pomoly Solo Tent, Yarn Solo Tent, and this here is my my titanium stove. So let's open it up and see what it has to offer. So these Pomoly pegs, tent pegs, are quite heavy. Pretty heavy duty as well. So that's just regular steel, and then you have these smaller ones, which are a bit lighter weight, of course. And we'll see what kind of tie-outs they have. I imagine those smaller ones are for the tie-outs. Then, of course, you have your pole. It comes with a wire and it's spring loaded, so these fit together quite nicely, just like that. And that's a 6-foot pole. Has a protected end there and a protected end there. Not super heavy, but you know, like when you're packing, everything adds up pretty quick. And then of course you have your Pomoly canvas tent. Has this flat. I see they've upgraded the fire fabric, and this is still the same. That's 100% fireproof, I believe. But I'm concerned about the stitches, and I'm wondering if the thread they used is fire resistant, and I don't think it is. There's a piece of thread right there, and I think what I'll do is I'll just take and just put some fire to that very end. That jack, like I said, let's see if that's going to okay, that's the jack material. Let's see how well that holds up to fire. Gonna focus in. Anyway, that thread right there is what I'm gonna test. So let's just see. Clearly doesn't melt. Okay, and these are the threads. Those two little threads right there. I don't know if it's gonna focus in, but those are of the stitchings. So let's just try that out. Definitely. So under extreme heat, I do believe that these stitchings holding this this fire ring in place are going to melt. So I'm going to use an old Indian trick. I'll share that with you. All right, well, let's take a look at this. So there it is. There's the stove. Now, let's check this out. All these great items. So Very nice. Very nice. Now apparently that'll take 30 pounds, which is plenty. I have an idea, and I think it'll work, but let's try it, and then we can share it with the world, the Pomoly world, and whoever else that might be able to apply this idea. So let's go. So my idea calls for some plastic wrap, painter's tape, a Sharpie, and a jar of Kraft Skippy, or jar of Kraft Smooth peanut butter. Easy. Just lay that down there, like so. Take my tape and just tape that right in place, like so. Okay. I think that's going to work. I'll take that. I'm going to trace it. Now, let's cut that out. Okay, so that is that. Now, what my thought is, I'll put right over top of that, like so. So this plastic sticks, this tape sticks very well to the plastic. Had a little trouble starting it. Nonetheless, we've got it off. That see what I mean? Make sure there's some gray sticking up around there. And what I'll do is take the magic stuff and seal it with this. All I'm going to do is just coat that with this and seal it to the gray fireproof material on both sides. And I've already gone ahead and cut out my second sheet for the back side. I'm going to be quite generous with this because I do want it to coat right up over the yellow. Okay, well, let's flip that over and do the same to the other side. Okay. There we go. It's nice and clean. Not as clean as I'd hoped, but a hell of a lot cleaner than if I hadn't used the tape. But that's alright, we can live with that. And this just needs to dry. So let's go hang that up somewhere. There it is, hung up. Well, I've been thinking about the Pomoly tent, and the Yarn Solo is what I purchased. And looking at the specifications, it reads that the sides are 57 inches. So a hexagon is made up of 6 equal triangles. So theoretically, I can make a jig for this and determine where the pegs go, as long as I know the center of where I want my tent to sit. I can determine where the pegs go before the tent is erected. So let's make a jig for that. I think it'll work quite nicely. So what I have is a 12-foot piece of string, and this is what we're going to make our jig out of. I'm just going to tie a loop right here. You just need it big enough that your nail is going to fit through. So, for your tent peg, right? And you're going to measure from your tent peg, or from your loop. You'll measure down here to 57 inches, which is right here. I put a bend right there at 57 inches, and I shall make another loop. In fact, what I'll do is just give it maybe a ½ an inch, just to accommodate for the amount of material that we're going to be using to make this loop. There it is. Now, because we're dealing with equal triangles, this loop has to be the same size. So I'm going to give this another ½ inch, just to accommodate. It's rough. I know, it's not an exact science, but I believe that this is going to take a lot of the guesswork out of my pitching the tent. How this jig works is we'll peg this down where we want the center pole. We'll run this loop out to the first peg, so that'll stretch out there. And what we'll do is we will remove this from the center pole and attach the other end to the center where we want the center pole. And this will still be on the first peg. And then the loop in the bite will reach out to the second peg, and that will make your equal triangle. And to find the third peg, you simply remove the loop from the first peg, put it on the second peg, take the second peg loop in the bite and move it to the location of the third peg. Meanwhile, the center pole peg remains in the center pole throughout this exercise. Theoretically, your tent should be symmetrical if it is a hexagonal shape. Might have to tweak here and there, but nothing too major. So really simple jig, multi-use. I'm going to use this to tie up my tent. All right, so we're going to quickly set this Pomoly tent up. I got my jig. Let's see how it works. Let's see, this will be about middle right there, eh? say that that worked out quite well. And that's the Stove Jack. And that's about 2 hours after I applied the gasket material, and it's nice and dry. Awesome. So it worked. All right, so we got the chimney pipe worked out, and the stove's ready to go. I'm going to use this to protect the grass, which is a barbecue sheet that you can just pick up from Canadian Tire or whatever, but it's designed to go on top of your grill. I'm going to put that underneath the stove to protect my grass. Okay, before I burn that stove in, I'm going to get the fingerprints off with this rubbing alcohol. Well, let's see how this goes. Oh yeah. Something else for this. Beauty.
For the latch?
For the latch.
Seems to be a wood latch. Maybe so.
Look at that.
Sweet.
It's just cooking now. There we go. Just need a little bit more air. Nice. I'm a happy camper. Let's see how this is holding up to the heat. It seems to be doing all right. I like. Way to go, Pomoly. Well, this is the backyard test. It's a good place to test things out. So if something goes wrong, you're not far from home and you're not depending on your equipment for a good night's sleep. But everything seems to be working nice. The stove worked well. I can see the chimneys burning in quite lovely. And it's warm in here. Got a nice breeze. It's great. It'd be a great solo tent for sure. I don't believe we're going to be able to fit 2 people in here with the stove. My size anyway, maybe myself and a small person. Well, here we are the next morning after the burn-in. There's absolutely no damage to the stove jack at all. No damage on the inside either. That's great. So it's supposed to get windy today, and I'm planning on using this, so I'll take it down and stow it away. Pretty happy with this little stove. My goodness. Thank you for joining me. I'm really excited about this, and I really appreciate you being here. Just remember, be good, be safe, and be kind.